This is SOMOS Radio. You guys are tuned in on a lovely Wednesday night, like I'd mentioned. I'm really excited because I got my homie in the building. We go only a few months back, but I feel like I've known him for a long time, like many years.
It's a couple of years. By accident.
By accident, actually. That's a funny story. I actually met this guy, or quote unquote, met him a few months ago, got his number. And then when I inputted the number, I was like, wait, I already got this guy's number. I was like, what the hell's going on? I was like, this is weird. Like, how did this happen? We connected the dots, went back in time, and then we realized that we actually met like 2 years ago. And, we just hit it off and, been working together ever since. This guy is representing a very crucial group, in my opinion. This collective and this group has been really pushing the movement out here in LA. When I say this, I'm not just saying it to say it. I truly mean it because this collective has really been at the forefront and the pioneer in regards to, what's been going on in LA as well as on an international level. They've been influencing a lot of artists and fans to kind of understand and be more open-minded to what's going on with the global culture, with the global music movement. And, without further ado, I got my boy, CHABOI, a.k.a. Gabe, part of the Late Night Laggers crew. How you feeling, my dude?
Good, man. Thanks for the kind words.
Yeah, did you like that? I kind of practiced that a bit. Did you like that setup?
Practice in the mirror? No, thank you, man. Thank you for having me out here. Appreciate all the support, like always.
Yeah.
That's a pretty funny story, though, because the same thing happened to me. Like, I got your text, and I was like, what the hell? I have this guy's number already. Wait a minute. Oh, I remember this guy. I was like, oh, yeah, we go way back now. So we can technically say we go way back.
We can technically say we go way back, but, there was a little in between, where, we went about our own lives. But, that's the way life works. And, yeah, man, like I was telling you at the Jesse Bias concert, I'm really excited to have you here and talk about what's been going on because, I feel like at this point in your guys' career, Late Night Laggers is at a point where a lot of people are starting to notice what you guys are doing. It's starting to catch wind. And, it's a really beautiful thing to see. But at the same time, people don't really know the type of work you guys have been putting, the grind and the passion that's been going behind this project and for how long. The duration to me is really impressive and really, I respect it a lot because, it really truly takes a certain type of individual to really have the type of commitment that you guys have as a group, and the way that you guys work together to pick each other up is really, astounding. But, before we kind of get into like where you guys or how you guys kind of got to where you are now, let's talk about the origin of Late Night Laggers. Like, talk about who you are, what your role in Late Night Laggers is, and, like what was the whole reasoning behind starting Late Night Laggers?
Yeah, so thank you again. Mm-hmm. We got started around, I think it was 2013. It was, I just got out of college. I couldn't find a job. I had stopped playing music for the past like 4 years or so, like during college. I grew up playing guitar and being in rock bands, like hardcore bands, metal. I spent like all my time every weekend, like at backyard shows and like El Monte and Alhambra and shit like that. So like I was like a metalhead, like hardcore. But then around college, I kind of stopped playing music just because, the career consumed me and I had to dedicate myself. So once I got out of college, there was like this newfound freedom. I was just like, oh, like things kind of slowed down. It's like I didn't have to wake up super early every day anymore, and I could go wherever I wanted. So it's like I realized that I was like I need to do music again. And so around that time, I was in a place where I was really hungry to find new music. I had reached the plateau of like heavy metal because you couldn't really go heavier. Things were like super heavier. Like
you can only go so heavy, bro.
Yeah, like Satan snoring. You know what I mean? Yeah. With a cough.
I think as metal as I went was like, what is it called? a job for a cowboy.
Job for a Cowboy. Oh yeah, it's like I loved all that.
That's as like metals I went.
Yeah,
Like you know.
believe it or not, it got heavier than that.
Oh shit.
So
man.
like,
so
I get out
satanic shit, bro.
exactly. So I got out of it, and then I was just really hungry to find new music. So I started kind of rediscovering classical rock and like old school shit, and started getting really into UK like bands and stuff like that. And then somewhere along the way, I kind of like got into. Someone introduced me to Low End Theory. I started to go to Low End Theory, and that's kind of where it all stemmed from.
Shout out Low End Theory.
Yeah, R.I.P. Low End Theory.
R.I.P. Yeah,
definitely a super important entity in LA for the past decade or so. They gave way to a lot of, you know, producers that have gone international, and you know what I mean, like Flying Lotus, and you know. So I was there for a lot of epic moments when like Tom York came and DJ'd and Erykah Badu and shit. So that whole era of my life was like really exciting. I was finding new music. It was really experimental and weird and electronic and all that stuff. All things that I like didn't really like gravitate towards before, you know, not because I wasn't about it, just because I was stuck into other things. But so around this time is when I met Eddie Doe, who goes by Word 54.
Word 54. Shout out Word 54.
Yeah. And two of my best friends from high school ended up moving in with him out in Alhambra. And Eddie's house became the party house. So around this time is when like the whole DJ explosion happened. So everyone bought a controller and started learning how to DJ. So we would throw these house parties at his house and just like invite everybody. And we would just DJ like the weird random shit that I was listening to, the weird experimental, you know, sidechain beats and all that kind of shit. Wasn't really party music, but like I was, you know, experimenting with the DJ thing. So as time progressed, like I started getting more and more into dance music and Latin music and stuff like that. So when like Moombahton popped off, like 2010, 2011,
yeah,
you know what I mean? Like that whole wave like really got me amped. So
same.
Around 2013, we finally, I was throwing events with another collective. I was part of other crews as we were like learning how to produce and being Low End Theory beat heads and all that. I was in another crew called Closed Casket with a bunch of other guys. And then after that, started another crew called Hexes. And with Hexes is when I finally started like trying to throw my own shows. I was like let's do this. Like I got in contact with a gallery out in Highland Park. This little shithole like spot. There was like, it was like a building that like it was probably broken into. The guy probably didn't even own it. Things were falling apart. But it was this little spot where we could do whatever we wanted.
Definitely
and,
not up to code.
Definitely not up to code. No fire lanes. So brought all these speakers and PA from home and just like I started throwing parties. Around that time is when my friends moved in with Eddie and all that. And we met, and I met all his friends from Alhambra that liked to party and like dance music and stuff. So it was like a melding of two different crews. It was like my crew and his crew. And they would come to my parties and stuff. And then eventually he, I think he needed to throw an event. He was trying to throw a fundraiser for one of his friends or something. So he asked for my help because I'd been throwing parties at this place. So we put together a fundraising show there for his friend. And that's where he brought Kid Business, Brian from Late Night Laggards.
Shout out
so
Kid Business.
Yeah, so then I met him there. So then me and Brian like immediately kind of like hit it off. We, we both were playing similar shit. Like it was like we were playing the Mad Decent hits, the Jeffries hits, and all that kind of stuff, the TNA hits. So we were like, oh, like we're into similar music. Like I don't really know too many people that know this stuff. And it's like, so we all immediately bonded. And then with Brian came Thunder Before Dawn. And so eventually 2013 is when we set the date for like our first party. And it was with Moonchi.
No way. That was your first party?
Our first party was Moonchi.
What?
So it was a Sunday. And so we did a warehouse party that went till 4 a.m.
Was the name Late Night Laggards already established at that point? Or was it like, did it come after you threw the event?
No, we basically came up with a name for that party. And we threw this party with Moonchi. And that was like my first experience, like dealing with booking somebody and like
Yeah.
picking him up. I went to like the hotel, hung out with him, and like at the time he was like my idol, and I was like freaking out. I go to the hotel room and he's like, I'm like, here to pick you up, and he's like, oh cool, let me go take a shower. And I'm like, all right. I'm like, we gotta be there.
You
like,
go on and,
we go on and like pretty soon, man. And then he came out and he was just like, oh, look at this beat I made. And he's like showing me stuff. He was a funny guy. So he played this warehouse party with us on a Sunday. He played for like 2.5 hours and like it popped off. And it was like this, I don't know if you guys ever went. It's called the Anderson Warehouse. It was like a regular spot that there was like after hours going on in downtown. Okay. So at the time that was like the spot where I started going to like warehouse parties and shit. Right. So we rented it out and we did this party. Ham on Everything was next door.
Ham on Everything.
And like, it was like a crazy night. So that was like the first party we did. And after that, we were like, all right, like that was fucking awesome. Like, let's do it again. So that was 5 years ago now.
Yeah.
We're like 5.5 years in. We've been able to like bring a bunch of my personal favorite artists from around the world, like everyone from like Bronco, from Portugal to
Shout
like
out Chufada.
You know, we just had Florentino recently. We had Bad Gal from Spain. We've had like Dengue 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 from Peru. All kinds of people. Basically, Late Night Laggers became this thing where it's a group of friends that wanted to hear music that we weren't hearing, you know, at the after hours parties, at the club, you know, whatever. We weren't hearing the music that we wanted to hear. So we were like, let's start bringing it. You know, let's create this, you know, this community. Let's create a space for these artists to be able to come to LA and play, and for people in LA to learn about this music and come, you know, make it fun for everyone, you know. My whole thing is, you know, the discovery of music. So that's like the goal for Late Night Laggers, for people to discover music,
right?
Learn new shit, and for everyone, you know, to desegregate scenes and stuff like that. You know what I mean? Like have everyone from all cultures. And that's the cool thing about being Latino. Like Latinos all hang out with each other. You know what I mean? That's always been a cool thing about growing up Latino. You know, your family hung out with all, at least living in America. You know what I mean?
Right.
And so it's been 5.5 years. We've been able to throw these parties and shows, and we're just constantly trying to like challenge ourselves and like, you know, set goals. And it's definitely challenging. And it definitely took a few years for us to like figure out like what works and what doesn't. Right. And, you know, just, you know, learning the back end of throwing events and concerts and shows is a lot more work than it seems.
Oh, 100%.
It's a lot more work, you know, coordinating, you know, and booking and making sure everything's set and getting the sound and getting, you know, and especially when, you know, when we're throwing like our renegade parties, you know, there's a lot of infrastructure there that missing that you would typically have at a club. You know, the club has restrooms.
Right,
you know what I mean?
Right.
Like you throw a warehouse party.
Take those things for granted, man.
Exactly. So it's been a great learning experience, and we've been able to like. It's funny because we joke about it because now we go to like another party or another show or something, and you know you immediately start looking at things. You're like, oh, that's not right.
Yeah.
Oh, they could have done that better.
Dude, when you came to our show, I was low key like, damn, bro. Like I was looking around, like, oh, he's gonna notice this.
No,
like,
you guys did great. They look great in there.
Thank you.
It's exactly what we would have done. Like you guys had the cool neon sign, and then you had a lot of fog, and it was dope.
We actually built that. Frankie, shout out Frankie, shout out Cairo, aka Third in Cairo. They built that. Like
that's sick.
It was yeah,
man. The more you can create for yourself and for your team, and like work together on stuff, it's like you just become that much stronger. And
exactly.
And really, what it takes is commitment and determination to just like accomplish your goals. You know, they can be small goals. You know, you don't have to shoot for the stars immediately, but working with a group of friends that you can totally confide in as business partners as well is invaluable. And it's really hard to come across. So like, I feel super blessed that I came across these like 3 people that like, I probably would have never met if it wasn't for my friends moving in with my other friend, you know what I mean? And so here we are now, having fun.
Yeah, man. And just to kind of take a step back too, I think that is, why our two groups kind of click
Yeah, definitely.
instantaneously, because we have a lot of the same goals and we all think we have the same ideologies and we're looking to promote the same thing essentially. We were talking about, desegregating and breaking down these barriers when it comes to culture. And, that's what SOMOS is essentially about as well.
Right.
And, and I think that's really important especially where we're at in Los Angeles, this huge melting pot of different cultures, different religions, political views, whatever it may be. And you can be not even 5 miles away from some, like you could be in a community of like all Latinos, but like, 5 miles away, it'll be like all Armenian or something.
Right,
but,
right.
But like it could be like, fairly close, but you don't really know much about, those
Right.
people and vice
Right.
versa, And I think music is a way to, really kind of, make it more accessible to people,
Mm-hmm.
to expose them to different things. And for you in particular, I really kind of understand what it is that you've been doing, because like I feel like you're the same way that I am. You're on SoundCloud, you're constantly looking for new people,
Yeah.
new sounds, the new
Yeah.
the new sound, and like I'm the same exact way. Like the fact that you got people like Munchie, like people would have died to see Munchie, like honestly live. Like we saw him, I think we all saw him, like Andrew and Frankie, we saw him at the Mad Decent Block Party when it was free.
Yeah, I was
think
there.
it was in 2012. Yeah.
When Dave Nada brought him out,
Yeah,
I was
yeah.
there.
Yeah, it was crazy.
That was so
Yo,
crazy.
You can drop. You can hop on the mic too if you want. Yeah, I can turn it on. And so like the fact that you booked someone like Munchie at your first event, and then you guys get people like Florentino, Branco. Your last Paradise Boom event was with Walshy Fire, Bad Gal.
Mm-hmm.
Huge names. When it comes down to it, like people don't really, I don't think, understand the scope of what it is you guys are doing and bringing it to LA. It's pretty up there.
Thank you, man.
Yeah. So with that said, I think just moving forward, that's something that like I said, that's where we kind of align.
Right. Yeah, man, you guys are killing it. Like that's why I think you and me started talking online, because I was just like, I came across either it was one of your edits or something on Somos.
Yeah.
And I immediately like got stuck on that channel or on that account. And I was just like, oh, hell yeah. Like that'll happen. You know how SoundCloud is. Like some days, like your feed is just like crap. And other days, like you'll click on a song and it just like takes you down a
on this
wormhole.
journey, bro. On this journey.
Like today, I was trying to like look for tracks for a gig I have this weekend. Kind of look for a little more like turned up party vibes, because it's a big show and stuff. But like, I landed on some more like experimental dark stuff, and I was like, oh, this is really good. And went to like, and it was like an Animal Collective and MC Bin Laden like Violent Funk mashup. I was like, oh, this is fucking dope. And I just like went down. I was like, damn it, I've been listening to this for like 2 hours. I can't play any of this on Saturday. But I'm just like, yeah, I'm just like you on SoundCloud all day. Just like,
100%.
SoundCloud is great. Like I've met a lot of cool people on there. People from across the world. You just hit them up. And
I mean, back in the day, that was the hub. Like that was the community.
Yeah.
Like the go-to community. And I still think it is to this day, but like right now it's a little bit of a love-hate, because I feel like I've been so dependent on a platform like SoundCloud for so many years that like I kind of let that dictate, what it is that I'm doing or whatever, which is good and bad, but at the same time, you kind of have to like separate yourself from those types of things. But quickly, before we, finish up that topic, I want to talk about the number of events that you guys have thrown in regards to like the names. Like I was going through like, because the first event I went to was Tropics, which wasn't like that wasn't like only late night lives, right? That was
so you mean like how many series we've done?
Yeah, like it's you guys have like different series of events, right? So the first one I went to was called Tropics, and that was because Booty, aka Alex.
Yep. That's how we met. Yeah, because we did a party with them. That one wasn't a Tropics, but yeah. So Tropics was the collaboration with Muevelo.
With Muevelo, that's what it was. Yeah, and then Gesture was there, and Too Deep was there, and then
we booked Gesture before he lived in LA. And I forgot who else he played. It was him and et cetera, et cetera.
Bang Include.
And Bang Include.
Yeah. Shout out Bang Include.
Yeah. And and it popped off. And then I guess Jim liked it so much that he decided to come back. He's like, next time I come back, I'm coming with my girlfriend and we're staying. And he did. Now
He's been here for years now. Yeah, that's crazy. So I mean, you know, and then after that, I went to a Calentura event to go see Branko.
Yeah.
And you know, talk about those
The different series.
the different series. Like, what's the motive behind that? Do you still have like the same goal in mind, or is it just to kind of like reinvent yourself and kind of re-spark the interest, or you know?
Well, it's not to reinvent ourselves. It's kind of more to like cater to certain different niches in our music taste. Because some of those series were going on simultaneously. Like we were still doing Tropics when we were doing Calentura. So we were kind of alternating. So it kind of just depends. So for our first series ever was called Sunset Club. So
I saw that.
we would do it every summer, and it was a daytime party on a Sunday on a rooftop in downtown. We rented out like a warehouse, and we did it on the roof. And we had a lot of cool people play, actually. We had Paul Devereaux from At Decent play, Cañonazo from Subsuelo, Kittens played like way back in the day. We had, what was her name? Jesse Andrews.
Sounds really familiar.
From like AC Slater and all them, right?
No, the ex-porn star.
Yeah, wait, that's what I'm talking about? That's what you're talking about, right?
Yeah.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember AC Slater
watch
and
that,
sending
bro.
that girl that used to DJ, the blonde girl? I know you're talking
Yeah,
about.
she has exactly. But Tiga or something like that. Yeah,
I know
she was great.
exactly
It was so that was kind of our start. So we did like once a month. We would do it once a month, and we would book 3 different artists of different kind of sounds. So we would try to mash it up. So that one was we were going for like a festival vibe almost. Whereas like we would have a Moombahton DJ, we would have a house DJ, we would have a more trap DJ or whatever. As time progressed, we started leaning more and more towards the Latin and global stuff.
Okay.
It's just what naturally attracted us more, and what we felt was there was more of a need for. There's trap was like booming, you know what I mean? Like there was no lack of trap back then. Exactly. That's part of it. So it's like, but at the same time, it's like, it helped us reconnect with our culture, because most of us are Latino.
Right.
Eddie's basically Mexican at this point. Yeah. He speaks very well Spanish.
Alex is basically Latino too, bro. I mean,
oh, word. I was raised Armenian. I grew up with Armenians.
I am Armenian.
So we had Sunset Club, and then I think after that was when we started Tropics with Muévelo.
Right.
Then a little bit after that. Oh no, sorry. Before Tropics, we started Calentura with Subsuelo.
And then you guys got Plugged In.
Then we did
LA,
Plugged In with Gesture, and then
Paradise Boom.
So Paradise Boom is like the newest one,
Right.
And then we'll have like one-offs depending, what's going on. We did a cumbia thing a couple months back with Príncipe Q and Deltatron. We did a Sonido Ángeles. So there's one-offs and stuff, but Paradise Boom is kind of the one that we've been really kind of pushing lately. Yeah, just because there's a lot of great music coming out, that kind of leans on the Caribbean and Afro-Latin side. But, I also do another party with Canyon called Escándalo, and we've done that in collaboration with Late Night Lagers too. And that one's more like hardcore perreo, you know what I mean?
Shit,
so there's like a little bit, but then everything kind of, crosses over. So it just kind of depends. We're like I said, we're constantly trying to set new goals and trying to, do different things and challenge ourselves. So
what are you guys looking to do moving forward? Because I went to the last 2 Paradise Booms. I went to the Florentino one, which is awesome. A huge fan of Florentino.
Yeah,
so the fact that you brought him out here to LA, we all love Florentino. So we're like, yo, like we gotta go. Like
that's what I'm saying. Like I'm trying to bring the people out that the music nerds are gonna flip out on,
it's crazy.
but that the ladies are gonna dance to also.
Exactly. So. I love it. And I went to that one, and then we all went to the Walshy Fire and the Bad Gal one.
Oh yeah.
And that was crazy. I mean, like I felt like that was like a festival, pretty much. Like just like the scope and like So like I mean, what's your guys' ultimate goal with an event like Paradise Boom? Like moving forward, like what are you guys looking to accomplish with that type of event and those types of acts? Really,
So something I was telling Frank over here earlier that this last show we did at the Mocha. So we did a show at the Mocha Geffen Contemporary with Spaceland and obviously the Mocha team. And so we had Jesse Baez, we had Nick and Navy, and we had The Wave, and we had Dave Nada and Titsworth DJ. So that was the show where we've had the most live performances ever at one time. Like we've done like one or two live performances, like we had Bad
DJs.
Gal, and we've had like Tomas Alreal and stuff like that. But and then mainly DJs. So for this one, we like challenge ourselves. Like let's do something, a little more of a show. Like a performance thing. Like
Right.
I love DJs. We've been booking DJs for the longest. There's a lot of great DJs, but the live element was something that we're like, hey, like a lot of this music is to dance to, and it's like it's
a completely different dynamic too.
Yeah.
Brings a different energy.
Seeing four MCs on stage hopping around, hyping everybody, it's really tight.
Dude, the wave was amazing.
They're sick,
They're
right?
super sick.
They're so tight.
That was awesome.
They actually played the first Paradise Boom ever.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And then I saw that you guys also booked Los Racas.
We've had Los Racas,
I'm a huge fan of Los
Yeah,
Racas
they're
too.
dope.
So
Shout out
I mean,
Racas.
yeah, dude, I love their
We did a
music.
We did a what was it? They got nominated for a Grammy like 2
It
years
was like
ago.
a Grammy party.
We did a Grammy party. It was tight. We
Yeah.
did the whole red carpet and we all got swagged out and shit.
So
So I would say that the next goal that we've all kind of been talking about for the past few months is bringing in more live performances and more vocalists and stuff. Like I would love to bring Bea Pelea from Spain or I don't know, Laura. There's so many people, and it's just like I feel like
Rosalia, bro, you can get it.
oh man, like we would love to. She done blown up already, man. Like
I mean,
she played the Hollywood Bowl with Juanes a couple weeks ago.
Dude, fucking, I saw Seta Naga was there at the Jesse Bias thing, and he did a song with her, and then H.A. was there.
Yeah.
I mean, those, to me, those are like, I really love their music.
Yeah,
you
they're
know,
tight.
like, and the
Yeah.
fact that they were even there,
Right.
it just kind of goes to show you that like people are respecting, what it is that you're doing, even from that standpoint, from a performance and more. I guess you can say I don't want to say it's more musical. It's just a little bit more, it's just like more performance based, rather than just a dance that you go like
Right.
get fucked up to type
It's
of
I
thing.
different
mean-
when you're playing like beats and stuff like that.
Yeah, yeah,
Right,
yeah.
Totally
right.
different.
And I mean, not to knock anything,
course.
but it the more of everything, the better for me. The more my motto is the more music, the better. Always.
Right,
So it's
right.
like, it's not that we're gonna try to stop booking DJs or try to book less DJs.
No,
We're
you
just
just-
gonna try to book more of that stuff. And
Right.
it's, I think that at this point, like we're on more people's radar now that I'm able to like be like, hey, come through. Like Jesse Baez, like he's come to our parties a bunch of times.
Yeah,
like
yeah.
a lot of these cats, like, and that makes me feel great because like the people that are in that, world of that music, the creators in this world, like frequent our parties and they come hang out because they like to listen to the
they like
stuff
the
that we're bringing. So
environment.
it's like, I'm like, okay, cool. We're doing something right. So,
Exactly.
so just look forward to more of that.
Definitely. Same. Me too. Another thing that I wanted to talk about is what I was a part of, which I really appreciate you including me in that, which is the club world, which was your first official release,
Yeah.
music release.
Yeah.
What made you guys want to do that? Because you guys got producers and artists from all over the world. Basically, you compiled a compilation of all different tracks. It was like 15 tracks, right?
Yeah.
So I mean, that's pretty sizable. And then on top of that, you guys did a release party, which I was also included. So thank you for having me. That was an
man.
awesome party.
Yeah, that was so fun.
So I mean, what was the motive behind that?
A lot of it is rooted in me just having, so like since we started Late Night Laggers, started DJing a lot, and, throwing these events and stuff. So after, years and years of like creating music, like I was always playing instruments and recording stuff and whatever. Wasn't, putting, official releases out as much, but I was always like, writing. And then that kind of took a back seat for a long time because, learning the ropes with all this other stuff.
Right.
So about a year ago, I just kind of like told myself like, hey, I need to like keep talking about it. I'm going to start doing it again. So I started kind of putting work into producing stuff again.
You created CHABOI.
Yeah. I changed my name. I switched over from just a DJ to producer DJ, I guess. So
what was your name before?
Aslan Quetzal.
And then,
which is, I really love it, but
it's dope, but it's hard to say.
I can't tell you how many times people misspelled it on a flyer and shit.
Or they just can't pronounce it. I mean,
Aslan's not dead. It's just taking a nap for a while. It'll be back. But anyway, yeah. So like about a year ago, I was like, okay, like let's get cracking. Let's get music on. And I wanted to create something with Late Night Laggers that was a reflection of what we do at our events, but in a way that someone that can't physically come to our party would be able to enjoy. So, like SoundCloud, me being on SoundCloud all day is just like, I just kind of told myself like, all right, so like, what do we really need to do? I can't really bust out a whole album, or I don't know. I wanted to put Late Night Laggers at the forefront of what we're doing with our events. So I hit up all my favorite like producers,
people that you've worked with, and people that you've already.
And I mean, some people didn't respond and stuff like I try to hit up as many people, but I'd never. Well, no, let me correct that. I've worked on compilations before, but I've never done one entirely on my own. And this is an independent thing, so it's like I wanted this to be a DIY thing. I wanted it to be something that was. Just really real and really kind of
authentic and genuine.
People would ask me like, especially it being the first one. Some of the cats would ask me like, "Yo, like what kind of style do you want?" Or whatever.
Yeah.
I was like, "Dude, whatever you want. Like, remixes, originals, whatever you want. Like, let's do it." Like,
right.
So yeah, I was glad you submitted a track, and who else we had? We had
Radical One, Bang Include,
Maeli, Canyon Cody. We had
Akira, no?
Akira, Swisha. We had
Habibi boy.
Oh yes, AKA
Oh.
who else? Neuropunk from Jukebox Work. So it's like, we had some reggaeton guys in there. We had some house guys in there, or like club. And a little bit of
just an assortment of everything.
So I was really happy with it. The release party was fucking dope. Had a blast.
Cool. I love that venue.
That
really
venue
was super cool.
We haven't done anything there since then, but might be time.
I'm all for that.
Yeah, man. So there's definitely a lot of more of that in the works, I think. So 2019 for sure. I'd say expect the next compilation or
musical project.
Yeah, through Late Night Laggers.
Okay.
We're all really hungry to do it again.
Yeah. That's awesome. I think that's kind of a good segue too into like what you're personally doing, CHABOI, because dude, you've been killing it in the scene. Like you guys are doing a lot with Late Night Laggers, but you as an individual artist I don't know how you do it. Like you're like you have like 8 arms, like you're an octopus. Like you're here, you're there. Like I don't know where you find the time, honestly, because you're DJing almost like every day. It seems like and no, it's like
not every day, but
I know, but
I mean, I basically just got to the point where like I decided to just cut out all the fluff in my life. It's just part of growing up. You get older, you start being like, what am I doing? What have I been doing for the past, come on, get up off your ass.
I'm turning 26 on Saturday.
Ooh.
I'm getting there. Time to cut the fluff.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, that's around the time when I started doing that. I was just like, all right. But yeah, I mean, it's just, you get to the point where you just you ask yourself like, it's the things that I'm doing in my everyday life, are they going to lead to the goal that I'm like working towards? Like, am I really working towards that? And are there things I could cut out or reduce on, whatever it may be. It could be little things, So I've just kind of figured out my own little personal formula that works for me for now. I'm still human. Like sometimes I just like, I don't want to do shit.
You just want to chill.
Some days I'm just like, I go home and I'm just like, I'm just gonna watch TV. Fuck this. But like, So yeah, so I mean the production thing has been one thing. As I was telling you earlier, like that's the one that's like you can't really bullshit that one, you know. Like other things, like
you gotta put in the time for that.
Yeah,
one.
you gotta put in the time. So it's like I've been, you know, really just kind of reducing my time. Like I don't go out as much anymore. I used to go out all the time. I used to party a lot. Like even with late night lagers, like now it's like I look forward to staying home now. I'm just like, yes, I'm gonna stay home. I'm gonna work. I'm gonna download. I'm gonna, you know, send emails.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, fucking nerdy, but like,
No,
I mean, in the end, like it's rewarding. It's like,
Right.
so yeah, like the past year has been unbelievably blessed for me. I feel really grateful for everyone that's like supported me with stuff or like the opportunities and shit. So I'm just kind of super motivated and hungry right now to just get out there. You know, the same thing that we're doing with Late Night Lagers. I want to do it through my own expression as well. So I'm trying to put out as much music as I can, trying, you know, DJing different things and all that kind of stuff.
And you were also I don't know if you're at liberty to speak on this yet, but you're also doing your own thing in regards to music projects. You know, releasing music with other pretty big names. I don't know if you're at liberty to talk about this or not.
I can mention it. I think we're good. Yeah. So I'm working with Dave Nada and Titsworth. You know, good
Shout
buddies
out
of
Dave
mine.
Nada, Titsworth.
And
Legends, bro. Legends.
Yeah, man.
Both of them legends.
I was like, what? These guys want to work with me?
Yeah, that's
So I'm helping them with a new imprint. It's going to be called Hermanito, and it's going to be a global music label essentially. So we're working with a bunch of different producers, vocalists, doing all this stuff. So I'm kind of helping out on the A&R tip and production too. Like I have some stuff in there. So 2019 will be, like I said, the more music, the better. There's going to be a lot of music coming.
I could definitely see that 2019 is definitely more musically directed when it comes to Late Night Lagers, as well as you as an artist, you know.
Yeah.
So I'm excited to see that kind of come into fruition and kind of, you know, blossom into something, you know, like,
Yeah, man.
I feel like you've already accomplished so much in these last, you know, few months, really. Like, you know, I mean, you as CHABOI, I feel like you've done a lot, you know, so in such a short amount of time. I mean, 2019, who knows, man?
I know, man. Who knows?
Yeah.
We'll see. Maybe I'll open up for Juanes.
Damn.
Nah.
Nah, dude. That's
No,
definitely
man,
possible.
it's just, like I said, just set your goals and fucking kill it until you knock them out, and then set
Right.
new goals and then keep going. You know what I mean? Like you stay hungry and just keep going. Like, you know, you gotta visualize yourself where you want to end up and just hopefully get there. Like, I mean, I don't consider myself like super accomplished. I'm very happy with, you know, the progress I'm making and what the progress that my team is making and that we're doing together. So my mentality is like never be satisfied. Like just always want
definitely.
more.
Mhm.
So like I said, my goal is to discovery of music. I want to help in the creation of community and in literal, you know, tracks and music and stuff for people like you and me and all of us to like be able to enjoy and share and spread and get inspired and want to make more. You know what I mean? So that's where we're heading.
That's awesome, man. And we're going to be, we're kind of already past, but it's all good. We're going to be wrapping up the show right now. Where could people follow you? Like, what's the best way to reach you guys, you know, when it comes to music or on social media? What's a good place where people can...
Late Night Lagers on SoundCloud, Facebook, Instagram. I think Twitter is the only one that's different because
I think it's like
enough characters. Ellen Lagers, yeah.
Ellen Lagers,
I mean, you can just search Late Night Lagers anywhere. We'll pop up. CHABOI Aslan. CHABOI _ Aslan. That's mine. But
Aslan will never die, bro.
yeah, Aslan's in the back pocket. I'm telling you. I got plans for that too.
It sound like a warrior, bro. Like Aslan. Fuck.
Yeah, man.
That's dope, man. Well, I appreciate you coming through the studio, man.
Yeah, man. Thank you for having me.
It was a great chat. And yeah, you guys heard it first. Do you have anything to add, Third?
Not much, man. I just really respect what you guys are doing, man, and I see the work you guys put in, and it definitely reflects on everything you guys have been doing. So you guys definitely set the bar,
Thank you, man.
So,
Thank you. We'll be working a lot more together.
Yes,
Most def,
let's
man.
do it. Let's collab.
Definitely.
Let's collab, bro.
Yeah, man. Let's build, fam.
Let's build, fam. Thanks for tuning in, everyone. This is SOMOS Radio. I go by the name of Flacco, signing out.
CHABOI.
third.
See y'all. Peace.
Don't get it twisted. It's SOMOS Radio.